Hello everyone and welcome to the World Blitz Scrabble Championship. Today is Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. It is 12:30 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, but it is still Wednesday night back in the US of A where I'm coming at you. My name is Evans Clinchy and I'm happy to have you with us for this broadcast. This is, let me get this right, the 147th and final broadcast of BlitzChamps, and we are finally here, folks. We are here. It is the final match of the entire tournament. I've been looking forward to this moment for about 4 months now. We began this tournament right around the first of the new year, and we've been playing for the last 13 weeks now, and it's all been coming up to this. We got 2 players left, and tonight one of them is going to be the champion. Here is a look at the bracket. Your champion on the left side of the bracket is David Eldar. Your champion on the right side is Will Anderson. And tonight, David and Will go head-to-head for a best 10 out of 19 game series, and only one can win. Axer Typo, thanks for the raid. Appreciate you. Not just for the raid, but for all of your support all tournament long. It's been great. Really appreciate you broadcasting not just your own matches, but everybody else's as well. It's been really awesome to have you on the team. Anyway, let's get into it. We're going to have David and Will in just a moment. It looks like these two guys are on Woogles.io right now and ready to begin. We're going to have the championship round of this tournament getting started in just a couple of seconds. Cannot wait for it. Let's get into it. To Woogles we go. Best of 19 series getting started in just a moment. Seeing some predictions in the chat already. Some people saying, 10-7 Eldar? Okay. I would not count Will out. He is going to be a very, very tough out in this tournament as he has been to date. This is going to be a great matchup. David and Will cannot wait for it. Dude, it's not doing your reading, so you can watch this instead. A very good decision. Reading you can do anytime, but watching the finals of BlitzChamps with 2 of the best players in the world, you can really only do once. So making the right decision for sure. All right, waiting for David and Will. Looks like they are ready to go, and I will tell them they may begin. And let's get into it. Game 1 coming up right now between David and Will in just a couple of seconds. Wow, so 78% of your chat, Josh, said that David would beat Will. That is, okay. Interesting choice. I'm going to say it's going to be a pretty close fight. We shall see. All right, let's get going. Game number 1 starts now. Will Anderson going first here in game 1. Not a great rack to start, but obviously we are just getting started and a lot can change. All right, Ganch is the first word of the match. 30 points for David to open, and still all these 1-point tiles for Will. Not a great way to start. Let's see here. Show the board? I thought I did show the board. What's going on? Why is the board not showing? That is bizarre. Let's try refreshing the browser. I am literally showing a board right now on my browser, and for some reason it's not showing up on the stream. That is bizarre. Not sure if this is a Woogles issue or an OBS issue, because I am literally looking at a board right now that is showing plays, and for some reason they are not showing up. That is really strange. Let's try to unshow and reshow. There we go. All right. First rule in IT is try turning it off and on again. Okay. Sorry about that. Game number 1 and 89-24. David with the early lead. No player has bingoed yet, but a strong X play from David of 43 points for mix. Always got to try turning it off and on again. I know that as well as anyone. I'm an IT professional, all right? All right, so 89-24, and Will is kind of taking his time here. It doesn't look like he's got a bingo with this rack of DEINRT. Oh, Trendies, that's a word. There you go. 65 points for Trendies. And that is the first of many times in these 19 games that I'll say there's no bingo when there is one. I have been missing stuff left and right, and that's why these guys are playing in the final and I'm not. All right, WOG for 24 from David. He's still got a small lead here, 113-89. Yeah, good point by Magra in the chat that David Eldar is also streaming his match as well, so you guys can watch at twitch.tv/Deldar182 if you want to see David's perspective. He'll be showing his racks and kind of giving his perspective, and then you can watch me as I'm streaming both players' racks and kind of giving an omniscient look at the whole game. So you can watch one, watch the other, watch both if you prefer. It is all up to you. Yeah, it looks like Upbeats was a playable bingo there for Will, but he plays Tob for 32 instead. Close game here, 153-146, but Will's definitely going to have to Be mindful of the clock. He's already about 30 seconds behind David in that department, and it's a close game on the scoreboard as well. So 22-point play of WAP, and a bingo is certainly coming here. Hartons for 89 is the immediate play from David for a pretty good lead here. 60 points up now is David. So nice play there. 89-point bingo, and I don't think Will's going to have anything too scary in response. Doesn't look like there's a monster scoring play with this Y that he's holding, and there's not a great way to fish either. You don't really want to play something like, you can play Ray. It's not very many points. 27 for Ray there is not too bad. Okay. So 27 points for Will, and he is within striking distance, but definitely David in the driver's seat so far. So Will just kind of playing through 1-point tiles there with Ioli for just 21, and David is adding to his lead here. 24 tiles in the bag, game not over yet. If Will can draw a bingo, he's still got a shot. Ioli kept RS for a leave. Pretty good 2-tile combination. And David's going to keep on scoring here. 39 points for Ked is pretty strong. There's the blank for Will, though, and unsurest. Nice play by Will, finding the blank with 2 U's. Finding the bingo with 2 U's on the blank, sorry. And David still leads by a little bit, though. Ovoidal for 22. It's going to make it hard to bingo. This V, you can't overlap it with a 2-letter word on either side, so that's going to restrict things a little bit. But there is still this open bingo line here in line B. And Will might not need to bingo, only down by 27 now. We'll see. 5 tiles in the bag, a pretty interesting tile pool. So Cat burning the blank but blocking bingos, and it looks like Will would have had anything anyway. So Will's behind by 60. Not a great rack for bingo. He might try to fish for something, but it's going to be very hard to land a bingo on this board. Obviously, whatever you open up, David is going to block it. That's going to make things very, very tough. 60-point lead for David. The attempt here is YU. What can he draw? I don't think he can draw anything. Even with a miracle draw, there's just nothing in the pool he can get. So looking like a victory here for David Eldar in game 1, but obviously a long, long, long way to go. I think that's been a catchphrase of mine during these broadcasts throughout the tournament is, hey, long way to go. Anything can happen. But in a 19-game series, there is an especially long way to go. You're going to hear me saying that a lot. All right, Fezzes, as David just keeps on scoring points. Why not? And he's up by almost 100 points here in the endgame. Going to be 1-0 in just a moment. Yeah, it's a best of 19 series. Some background on that. We were originally doing best of 9 series throughout the tournament, but coincidentally, there were 2 people who came to me suggesting longer series, and those 2 guys are now in the finals playing each other. It was David and Will all along saying, more games, more games, more games. I think Will was the one who pushed for the 11, 13, 15 escalation in the last 3 rounds, and David was like, no, 15's not enough. Let's play 30, let's play 40, let's play 50. So they met at a compromise of 19 games, and game 1 of 19 is now in the books. 440 to 355. David gets the win in game number 1. Obviously, we are just getting started, and there is plenty of time for Will to come back. All right, so David takes the first game, and sorry for killing your scoreboard. I'll bring that right back. All right, so 1-0. David leads the series, and yeah, best of 80 or bust. There you go. 19 is just fine with me. I do want to, log off, eat dinner, maybe go to the bathroom at some point. It's hard to just sit at your computer and stream for 1 million hours in a row. So 19 was a happy compromise for myself as well. I think Will was saying he wanted to have a roughly 2-hour-long broadcast and not more than that, which is also pretty reasonable of him. It's 8:30 in his time zone, Eastern time in the U.S. Doesn't want to play past his bedtime. I totally get that, Got to have just a reasonable length of stream here. What did Ludwig do? Stream for 8,000 hours? I would love to hear the background on that. All right, so 1-0. David leads the series, and we are waiting on game number 2 to begin. Should be any minute now. Hope they're not going to take 5-minute breaks every round, because this would be a very, very long stream in that case. But we'll find out. So 440 to 355. David takes the win in game number 1. Nicely played by Will overall, though. Unsure, this was a nice find with the 2 U's on his rack. But David just scores very well and stays ahead the rest of the way. All right, so Not sure what's up with David and Will. Let me just check and make sure I'm not missing anything. Nope, looks like there is no game happening right now. Okay. If anybody happens to notice in Woogles that there's a game happening that I didn't see, just give me a nudge in chat and let me know. But it looks like we're just dealing with a little bit of a break in play here after game one. Looks like Eldar's away from his keyboard. Okay. I guess we'll find out what's going on there in a little bit. Eldar had someone at the door. I wonder who that is. Maybe he's got Nigel Richards there to like help him play Scrabble. He might need it. Will's pretty tough. He's back. Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right. I would imagine we're going to start game two in any second now. And looking forward to it. One game down, potentially 18 to go. We shall see. Sitting here waiting on David to stop talking to whoever's at the door and play some Scrabble here. All right, game two starts now, and it is David first with all 1 point tiles to start. He plays onion. I might have played a shorter play like just un or something, but he goes with the longer word, keeping just AR for a leave. And not a great start for Will here. He might just play QI for 11. No, he'll exchange. He just trades all 7, and wow, variant right out of the bag for David. Nice draw, and he leads by an 80 spot here to start, 80 to 0. So Will's just going to take some baby steps back, score 25, and see what he can do to come back in this one. Already down 1 game to nothing. Doesn't want to be down 2-0. It's an uphill battle from here, though. So David's got the X. Doesn't look like a super great board for the X here. Not seeing any amazing hotspots for him, but I'm sure he can do something. Yeah, Docs looks fine. 28 points for that. And Iceless right out of the bag. 79-point bingo for Will. Nicely done. So we're right back into an even score here. 108-104. 4-point lead for David. And probably some scoring potential here. You got words like Dormy, for example, is 33. Something like that is pretty solid. Maybe Yar or Yard for 30 or 32. Plenty of ways to score here. Miceless, lacking mice. Yeah, that's a word probably. Oh, good. We have trolls. Love it. Enjoying that. All right, David really taking his time here. Oh, yeah, move Dormy over by 2. Good call. That would have been a higher scoring play. All right, Marty comes down and, ooh, Viceless. Very nice. So Will finding a nice hook for Iceless, scoring 27 and unloading some unfriendly tiles, the V and the U. Will has also drawn the blank. He's got AHL blank as his leave. Pretty good. On Ropes is the 7-tile rack for David. He can play On Ropes making Spa at 5D. And he does. Okay, 73 points for On Ropes, and a weird draw with that blank for Will. He does have an open U to dump his Q, though. Just something like Qua is probably fine. And he does play Qua indeed, 24 points. So David's got the lead here by about a bingo score, 64 points, but Will's got the blank. Egoity, nice play by David, scoring well, taking out that triple. He leads by almost 100 now, but again, Will's got that blank. He can make this a close game pretty soon. Not sure if I see a 7 with this particular rack. He does have the A-hook for Qua here to make Aqua, but I don't see a word. Anybody else in the chat, feel free to correct me. You can also use the bots for that. Anagram. If I could type those letters. Oh, that's not what he has. There's an N in there. You know what I mean, guys. No 7? Yeah, no 7. Okay. So Will's really taking his time here, and I can't blame him. It's a tough position to be sure whether there's a bingo or not. He decides on Woe for 33. Not bad. A little bit of volatility here, opening up that triple, but David kills the triple with Therm for 32. Will's definitely going to bingo now. Very good draw after Woe. Just got to decide which one. Something like Eagling looks pretty strong here. Again, if I could type. Okay, Eanling, similar idea, only 4 points worse. And he's just got to, play something fast and not kill too much clock. All right, so David leads by only a little bit now. 19 points. He plays Gloop, and Will's drawn the Z. That's going to help him score quite a bit here, I would imagine. Yeah, ZHO for 51 and the lead. Will has come all the way back here. 316, 311. A very close game with 17 tiles in the bag. David's got 40 seconds plus the 1 minute overtime. We're doing 3 plus 1, so 10-point penalty for using that 4th minute. All right, fall for 29. And Will's now kind of behind a tempo here. 24-point deficit to make up with not a super high-scoring rack here. A lot of one-pointers, a lot of vowels. Your B is your one little bit of scoring juice. Yeah, a bet for 25, and David bingos. Wow, that hurts. Tranted, and it's a desperation challenge from Will, but of course it's good. Egito is a nice scoring play with the J, but I don't think it's going to be enough. David has a 13-point lead, and it is his turn to go first in the endgame. He's going to score something with his F and his W. And, yeah, Wifely for 17 is probably going to be enough, as he has just CSU as his last 3 tiles. Probably going to go out, and Will, unless he's got a bingo here, but I don't think he does. I mean, I guess you'd want to look from this G and this L, but I don't think there's going to be an 8 making anything with either of those 2 letters. All right, so he plays break for 50, and David's down by 20 points. He needs 16 to tie, 17 to win. He's low on time, final 5 seconds here. And he doesn't have it. Cuts is only 12. Will Anderson wins the game by 4 points, 454 to 450. A very nice win for Will, getting down break for 50 in the endgame and winning just barely here in Game 2. Impressive win for Will. Didn't want to go down 2-0, and thanks to that play in the endgame, he won't go down 2-0. 1-1, we got ourselves a tie match. So, it was a best of 19, now it's a best of 17. It's almost over, practically. Only 17 more games. Potentially less than that, we'll see. Very nice win for Will here in Game 2. Break was a nice play, and under some time pressure as well, he comes up with it. Nicely done. Yeah, it looked like after Trenton, it was a pretty desperation challenge situation, but Will managed to score very, very well with Egito. He was probably surprised to draw the K and the blank after Egito and get enough scoring punch in the endgame to win this one. But he does manage to come up with the winning endgame, and he wins this game by 4 points. All right, David, who's at the door this time? Oh, it's ejido, because it's a Spanish word. Okay. My pronunciation of all words in all languages is notoriously terrible, so I always appreciate the help. It's always good to have the pronunciation police, Josh. I love them. And they are very, very helpful to me very, very many times throughout these streams because I have a lot of need for some policing. All right, so looking like another long break between games here. Oh, just kidding. Game 3 starts now. Okay. So an opening bingo for Will. He plays thonged within 3 seconds, and he leads by 70 points to open here. Will looking to take a 2-1 lead in this series, but I'm sure David will not let him do that without a fight. Vizier comes down and opens up an H hotspot for Will. I would imagine Hugh is coming here. Hugh or Huia. Well, he plays Uwe instead, leaving that H hotspot open. That's a very strange choice, though. I would have just played probably Hugh right away. But he passes up a lot of points to play Uwe instead. And now it's back to David, who's got an interesting rack. He could play Hump in that same spot I was just talking about for Will's H. David can play his H. There's also this spot here. Like, you can play Hump, or I think Sumph is a word. You could play this for 37. Don't want to really burn your S, though. Something like that, though. Plenty of hotspots for your H's and M's and P's here. Both players really taking their time. Or actually, only David is, excuse me. Will isn't taking very much time at all. Will taking his time. He eventually chooses Sumph for 50. And now it's back to Will here in a tie game, 84-84. He's got an open J hotspot for Jug, but it's hard to get a word ending in J. He could play reloj, right, Spanish speakers? All right, Judy's 66-point J play on the following turn for Will, and Will takes the lead here. And Wow, there's a phony bingo. You guys are right. In the yellows is a phony bingo for 60 points, and it stays on. Wow. So an invalid high probability bingo stays on the board. Both players playing very fast, and I'm guessing they're just kind of rushing and not thinking about challenging off words here. All right, so Will's got the lead here by a little bit, 238-208, but it's David on turn, a chance to basically tie the score, 32 points. But Will, scoring very well, takes the lead right back, kissed for 50. And he's got himself a decent advantage here. 33 tiles in the bag. Will's down by 48 points. Not seeing any great options for his W and his other consonants here. Yeah, you don't really have anything that great here. Like, Twit is pretty weak. It's only 14 points, but what do you have that's better? Rentit. Ooh, yeah, you could play a long word. Yeah, Rentit is nice. Scores 28 because it doubles that W twice. That's not a bad option here. All right, Wedded for 23 is the choice from David. Opting not to open the board quite as much as Rentit would have. Befit for 18. Will's got the blank now. He's got the second of the two blanks. Befit kept LNU blank. It's going to be hard to bingo on this board, but I guess the idea is if David opens the board, you pounce on whatever opening he creates. So in this situation, you've got David who's behind by almost a bingo score, 43. He's got to open the board at some point, and Will's going to have a blank ready to go when he does. Trainful, there it is, exactly. So 72 points. Will bingo's in the spot that David opens up, and that's going to put Will very solidly in the lead here, almost 100 points up. And Remanette is an unplayable bingo for David. He's going to play me, trying to open the board a little bit and give himself a chance. But I would imagine we're going to see... I would probably play Sire here, just kind of killing off... Not entirely killing bingos in line A, but making them harder to hit, and also scoring 21 points. Seems like after a play of that nature, you're going to be up by 100, and yeah. He does play Sire, and David's going to fish. Wex for 18, keeping Argent. There's no I's for Argentic, unfortunately for him. He draws the Y for Asian Tree, but that won't play. And Gaine for 43 is going to score a lot, but not enough. Will here is solidly ahead in the endgame. Or I guess pre-endgame technically, one tile in the bag. But there's not much that David can do to come back at this point. Certainly no bingos are going to happen here, and Will's ahead by a bingo-sized score. All right, just playing out the final tiles here, and we will have a final score in just a moment. David is not yet resigned. Oh, just when I say it, David resigns for the first time. All right, so 453, 394 is the score when David resigns the game, and we've got ourselves a 2-1 series lead for Will Anderson over David Eldar. All right, so 3 games down and potentially 16 to go. David is down 2-1, but he's going to have a whole lot of opportunities to fight back. I wasn't trying to make anybody mosey. They moseyed of their own volition, just to be clear. And obviously David is no stranger to that resign button. He is very, very familiar with... he might even have that hotkey of 1 memorized because he is definitely a resigner. So, honestly, I'm pretty happy that he's one of the resign gang because it's going to be a long, long series if not. Like, I don't want to have 19 full-length games of like 8 full minutes. Like, you do the math. I'll be here for a long time. I'm going to get hungry. I'm going to get cranky, you know. All right, so 453, 394. Will Anderson takes game 3. It is 2-1, and we are waiting on David and Will to begin game number 4. It is a best of 19. That is correct. That is something that David and Will both asked for. They wanted as long of a series as possible, and we eventually agreed upon 19. So, going to be a long broadcast. Hope you guys are strapped in for the evening and ready to watch a whole lot more Scrabble. Resigning is like drinking poison. I don't even know what you're talking about there. Okay, whatever. All right. Waiting on David and Will for game 4. Should be any second now. Quick look at the bracket while we wait. David advanced to this point with a 7-5 win over Janul da Silva last week. And will be at Oculet 7-5 as well. All right, back to the board. Sorry about that. Let's go to game 4. I think I missed a turn. Sorry about that. And Naughty for 28 is the opening play from David. And it's back to Will for his first turn. All right. Frey for 26. So, pretty vowel-heavy rack for David here on turn 2. And he's going to play through it with just IO for 13. And what does Will have here in response? I don't know. Looking for some sort of word into this D or this Y, not seeing it. All right, Hurl for 23 seems pretty solid. And looks like no bingo for David. He would need like an R for Towerier, for example. All right, he just plays Woe, balancing the rack, EIRT. And I'm guessing we're going to see Zootier or Zootier. Yeah, Zootier for 48 from David. So a close game here, 118-105 with Will on turn holding the X, and Ulex is 64 points in the lead for Will Anderson. David draws the blank, though, 86 points for David Eldar on the bingo of Implane. E-Nation right back, fireworks going off here. And now it's Will in the lead by 36, and it's back to David here. Both players with a lot of time still to go. Lucho, very nice play, 42 points. Hard to find those 6-letter words, but no trouble for David. 42-point play, and then the bingo from Will. Wow. Prolers, +5 for the challenge. It is good, and Will's got himself a 1 bingo lead here. Whew. I'm going to pause. I'm going to take a breath. They are playing very quickly. A big fan of Will. You are correct. They are burning through this game. Will's used about 50 seconds. David used about 60. And we've still got 2 minutes on the clock, roughly, for each player. Looks like no bingo for Will here, I don't think. Givable is, of course, a word, but I'm not seeing a spot for givable. And barring that, I think you're just going to have to play through these consonants, this B, G, V nonsense, and do the best you can to bingo next turn. Something like maybe Vag here. Oh, he plays Vug, keeping ABEL blank, and he's going to draw a bingo. Let's see here. Does he have anything that ends or begins with this T? I'm seeing words like balletic and bidical. Oh, Basilect, there you go. That came up last week as well. Basilect has been one of the most commonly played bingos in this tournament, apparently. 86 points and a nice lead here for Will. But we got 8 tiles left in the bag, and Will is not quite home free yet, I would say. All right, Fib for 31. David's back within striking distance. Will's drawn the Q and the J post-bingo. Looking for ways to play off those tiles, the Q and the J. The Q goes here for QIS, and it goes here for QI as well. The J... All right, he plays QAT, leaving 2 in the bag, holding on to the J for later. His leave is EJNS. That's just going to be just fine most of the time for just, scoring reasonably. The pool unseen to David here is 2 vowels and 7 consonants, so it's very possible that Will's got a rack with just the E and then 6 consonants, including the J, with it. If Will is lucky, he drew the other E. It's going to be a tough endgame for him otherwise. Will does lead, though, by 48 points, a pretty solid advantage. David is taking his time, as well he should. He's got a minute to think through this pre-endgame with 2 tiles in the bag. Yeah, seeing some talk of Uakari. Okay, he needs Unakite. There you go. So he needs to draw... No, he can't get that either, can he? Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here for David. Fish AI going for calories. Yeah, that's not bad. You can fish AI and draw ES. Unfortunately for him, we know that Will has the S, so it's not going to work. But from David's perspective, that's a pretty solid idea to try it. From our omniscient point of view, it looks like Will's got this game won no matter what's in the bag. And also, as Josh points out, calories can be blocked, yeah. Well, you already have 1 spot for calories here, right? If you can set up a second spot for it, maybe. Yeah, he just plays Uakari and... well, so there's no T for Jest because Will hasn't drawn the T. David has. But it looks like Will's just going to score points and win anyway. Only GIT are the tiles left on David's rack. And just kind of any reasonable scoring J play should be fine here for Will. Taking his time, though, as he should. Still got 30 seconds. And it's not obvious where to put your J. Not really seeing any fantastic spots. He just plays Gene, and that should be good enough. He's up by 43, I think it is. And yeah, Will's going to hold on and win by 7. 473, 466, a banger of a game 4, and Will gets the win, taking a 3-1 lead in the series. So I remember some of y'all were talking about 10-7 David. Not sure how you're feeling now with Will leading 3-1. Obviously a very, very long way to go, but great start for Will, and to the extent that you can call one of the best players in the world winning an upset, Will is on pace for such an upset right now. 3-1 he leads. To be clear, I did not call out an upset. I think these are two very, very strong, pretty evenly matched players, and no result would shock me. But right now it's 3-1, and I have every expectation that David's going to fight back here. Yeah, any allegations that Will is not very good at Blitz are not only wrong, they are like just criminally insane. Like anybody who's watching in this tournament knows he is very, very good at this. All right, on to game number 5, and it is Will going first. He plays Foggy for 34. Nice start, just scoring, balancing. And David's going to get the first bingo, though. Phineas for 80 points, and David here with a little bit of a lead here in game 5. Oh yeah, Goofy might have been a better play than Foggy. Foggy's keeping a lead of AO. But, ooh, Aknose. Very nice play by Will. 64-point double-double. Not a bingo, but a very high-scoring play in that lane. And that is just a classy play. So, beautiful play from Will. And he's got a little bit of a lead here. 98 to 80. Yeah, Goofy would have been a better play than Foggy, but doesn't matter. Will just plays through the situation just fine, and he is in a close game here with David here in game 5. All right, so it is Will's turn again, and it doesn't look like he's got much. I would look for a spot for like Pulau or something, but there isn't. Oh, he plays Pool there. Okay, 22 points for Pool. Seems pretty strong, and it's back to David, who's got not the best rack in the world, but okay, yeah, Vode looks pretty good. Ooh, Patcherly for 92. Look at that play from Will. And he smacks it down instantly. 1 second to play Patcherly for 92 points and the lead. Wow. So Will's already won 3 in a row here, and he's in great shape to win a 4th one as well. David's going to have to fight back. Not going to be easy. He's got the J and the X. Lots of good scoring stuff here, but what can be done on this board? Not going to be easy. 212 to 132. Will leads by 80 points. David is slowing down here. Really kind of surveying his options here. He's got the J and the X. Not an easy situation when you've got not really an obvious way to play either one of those 2 power tiles. Okay, he plays Expert for 45, keeping the J. And Will has drawn another bingo. Wow. Sweatier for 68. And Will leads by 103. Not resign time yet, but 103 is a good lead. Plenty of ways for David to score. You can play Jism here through this S for 48. He can play, yeah, that is what he plays. There you go. And he's back within 55 points, but Will's just going to keep on scoring. 33 more here, and again, Will's lead is almost 100 points. So, what now? David is down by a lot, and he's got these 1-point tiles. It's not easy to use them. He probably needs to play through and keep scoring at least something. If there's a way to play off ARU, that would be ideal, but there just doesn't seem to be a great way to do that. Okay, Larum, that's not bad. He keeps AER for a leave. If he can draw well, He's got a shot to come back. Will's lead is now, I can't do math, but pretty good. 74 points, that's what it is. And he's on turn as well. Yeah, Larum takes an A for Alarum. And, all right, AA comes down for David. Again, just not drawing that bingo that he needs. Will has a trivial rack, as in he can spell the word trivial. But what can you do with that on this board? Oh yeah, burblier is a word. Nice. Yeah, you can extend burb to the triple. All right, so Vital and Alarum for 24 points more for Will, adding to his lead, but Arrieros is the bingo for David, putting him a little closer to a comeback here. Ooh, expert to inexpert, 51-point snap back to the triple by Will, just adding to his lead. We got 3 tiles in the bag now, and David resigns, giving the 4th consecutive win to Will Anderson. Very nice run here for Will. He leads 4 games to 1. And David is really in a tough spot here. All right, updating your score. It is now 4-1, Will Anderson. 4 straight wins for Will. He lost game 1, but he battled back to win games 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. This is a best of 19 series, though. The first player to win 10 games wins the championship, so there is a long way still to go, and David is very, very capable of coming back. 4 games to 1 so far. Wow, I am not going to predict 10-1. That is a bold prediction there in the chat. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I was talking earlier about the bracket. David beat Janil da Silva 7 games to 5. Last week it was a thrilling, thrilling match. He was actually down 5-3, but David won 4 in a row to close out the match. Very dramatic comeback there. And then Will, 7-5, beat Edward Oculitz last week. So that's how they got here, and here's where they are now, playing game number 6. And David opens with Owie for 14, which probably explains how he's feeling right now. He's hurting quite a bit, down 4 games to 1. Not drawing very well here in game 6 either. He's got too many vowels. He's going to exchange 4 of them, keeping EIS for a leave. Some might keep just ES, but David opts for an extra vowel in there. And looks like no bingo here for Will. Love to have like an L for Valerian or a C for variance or something, but nothing doing. All right, 21 points, a pretty good score for that rack. Can't really do much better. And Will's got deities. Just got to find the best spot on the board to play deities. And that should be the play here. Ooh, missed bingo there of deities from David. That's going to hurt. So he plays idea for 16 instead. Sad. And Will is leading by just a little bit here, 55-30. Close game early. So this is Blitz. Mistakes are going to happen, but yeah, that's a sad one for David. Yeah, Techies comes down for 81 points, and David does get a bingo eventually, but could have played one turn sooner. All right, 111-55. David leads by a little bit here, and Will is not drawing very well. He's got to play through a glut of vowels, and it looks like Adam is going to take out that triple word score lane and score 21. Cuttage, I believe, is a word, but I'm not seeing a spot to play that one. David might have to wait a turn or two before bingoing. Not a very good rack other than the blank. I mean, the C and the G are not friendly together, and your doubled up T's and the U isn't pretty, so not a great draw, but he's going to play Thug for 20, balancing things out, keeping CET blank, and he will probably bingo next turn. And Agnate comes down from Will, and ooh, this is an interesting rack. What does David have? Wouldn't shock me if he had a bingo here, but I'm not seeing it right away. What are we seeing, chat? Let me know. Cytogene, yeah, not a thing. Maybe he just didn't have anything. All right, so Retax is the bingo for Will, 86 points. Just a natural bingo with the X, and Will takes the lead, but David will probably bingo now. If nothing else, he's got a word like coolest or ocelots in line 6. That scores nothing, though. Ideally, oh yeah, creosote is a word. Probably want to play creosote. That's going to score way more. That's 76. And that indeed is played. Nice job by David to find that. And not a very good draw for Will. 3 eyes. Will's now behind by, what's that, 51 points? And he's drawn pretty poorly. See what he can do to play through these tiles. Got to look for a spot to dump some I's and R's. Not easy to do. Not easy at all to do. Just kind of scanning this board and I'm just not seeing much. So you don't really want to exchange if you can help it, but what can be done here? Will's taking his time, as I certainly would too in this position. Not an easy one to play. You're down by almost a bingo size score. Okay, Will exchanges, which I think I like. I mean, I don't really see anything better. And David's just going to keep on scoring points. 43 points for the J, and he leads pretty commandingly here in Game 6. Ooh, LiDAR. Very nice play, making creosoted. But David's just going to bingo right back, and he leads by over 110 now. Yeah, 119 to be exact. Baroque, setting up the S if he can draw it. That's pretty interesting, actually. If he draws the S and gets a play making Baroques, he's going to score a lot, and that is why you don't resign. I see the resign in the chat right now, and I think Baroque is the reason why you don't. Because Will's definitely going to have fighting chances here. If he can draw an S, he is back in this game, and he does draw the S. Wow. Well, he's still down by a lot, though. Maybe you should resign, actually. Down by 114. But I don't know. Maybe you make an S play now, and then you try to draw bingo after that. Crazier things have happened. Yeah, Sync is 96. And, oh, unwrapped isn't a word. Wow. Nice call by Noah to notice that. I didn't think of it not being good. It certainly isn't. Wow. So we've seen some phonies in this match. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right, Will's down by only 24 now, and David is drawn poorly. He draws 3 L's. Plays all of them with Lil for 6. So a 24-point game with 1 in the bag, and the blank is still unseen. We don't know who's going to draw it. There were 4 in the bag, and David had a 3 out of 4 chance at drawing the blank just now, but that leaves a 1 out of 4 chance that Will's going to get it. All right, David does get the blank. He leads by 3 here in the endgame, and he plays Irva's for 34. And that should be enough, I think. I'm not seeing a way for Will to come back. He gets minus 10 for going over on time as well. He's now down by 47. David's got a D and an N. He probably goes out, although I don't see it yet. Oh yeah, there's one place to play Dent through this E and this T. And there's also a place to play Dan for more points than that. So David is definitely going out. And Will's just got to score as much as he can, which looks like it's not going to be very much, honestly. Down by 47, plus whatever David scores next turn. I mean, Dan's going to be, what's that, 16 more, or 14 more, sorry. Looking like a win here for David Eldar in Game 6. 13 seconds left for Will. All right, he does play Foz for 39. Nice scoring play, but yeah, Dent is going to win it here. All right, final score of David Eldar 462, Will Anderson 433. David gets the win here in Game 6, and he begins a potential comeback. We'll see. He was down 4-1, now it's 4-2, and we'll see if David can continue to battle back and make this an even match. Best of 19 means a whole lot of fighting chances no matter how far behind you fall. This match is not going to be over until it's over. Yes, as I was mentioning earlier, we were doing only best of 9 matches for most of the tournament, and then Will was like, how about we lengthen it for the playoffs? How about we do escalating 11, 13, 15 in the final 3 rounds? And it was David who said, no, let's do more than 15. Let's do, 30 or 40 or 50. So it's really funny that the exact 2 guys who were pushing for more games are now playing each other in the finals. So they negotiated for a longer series. They wanted best of 19, and I was like, if that's what you guys want, let's do it. So we're doing a best of 19. It's going to be a long broadcast, and we are just getting started here. 6 games down and potentially 13 still to go. We shall find out. This was a nice game, except for the phony of Unwrapped, I guess. And David got the win here in Game 6. All right, Game 7 starts now, and it is Jube for 26 to open for Will. A lot of consonants here for David. 23 points for God. And Will's got to trade all 7 after a terrible draw. Not a very good rack for David either here. Both players with just a whole bunch of Drek to fight through here. So, what can David Eldar do here? Not much, it seems like. Okay, he plays wins. That's 38 points. Actually, that's very good. Okay, I didn't see wins there. Keeping GLT for a leaf, not too bad. And zone, a nice high-scoring Z play for Will, but David draws the blank. Maybe Croft here. Croft plays through this C for a lot of points and holds on to your GL blank leaf for later. And yeah, he indeed does play Croft. Let's see. Looks like no bingo here for Will. He would need the L for drunk lap. One of my favorite words. What can Will do in real life here? Not seeing a lot of options. You do have the A and the O for overlapping this J. Oh, he plays Fank. Okay. 32 for Frank looks pretty strong, and probably a bingo now for David. Something here in line N is possible, like Oakling. David's taking his time here. Looks like not an easy board to identify, like where's the highest scoring spot to bingo. So you do want to take a few seconds to kind of survey the board, make sure you're not missing any spots. And looks like that's what David is doing right now. Antilogy is the choice. 72 points for that. Nice play. And it looks like Raindrop is going to come right back here from Will. Oh, or Airdrops. That works as well. So Airdrops is 74. Oh, Raindrop would have set up a massive double word score. So yeah, Airdrops is better. All right, Will leads by just a little bit. And it's David's turn. He's got not a very good rack, but he does play Vide for 24, which is not bad. And Will draws the X. That's fun. What can be done with the X on this board, though? It doesn't look that great. Yeah, not seeing a lot of X plays here. Maybe tax. Oh, you have tax there. Okay, 39 points for tax. Looks pretty solid. And David has drawn more vowels to go with his V. Did get one consonant there with the R. Vey is a nice play, 26 points, getting some vowels off your rack as well. And a non-bingo play of bingo for Will. I guess he didn't want to try co-bingo to bingo together. All right. David is down by 54, and he's got a very vowel-heavy rack here. And I'm not sure what he should do here. I don't think there's really any great fishes. Like, you could play something like OE. Okay, that is what he does. I mean, it's prone to some bad draws if you get any more vowels. And Post Kava, a natural bingo from Will of Post Kava for 66. You love to see it. Look at that find. Post Kava. And Will leads by over 100 now. So it's looking like another win for Will Anderson here. Is already up 4-2. But Fado, nice play by David. 35 points. He's within range a little bit. Will, not a very good draw. Plays through it and scores 20. And yeah, Precava takes an E for Precave. Yeah, nice, nice. I doubt that'll come up, but still a cool fact to know. For David, he's down by 101, and he's over on his clock as well. Not a great situation for him. EH for 30 points comes down. Let's see here. Will's got plenty of time. He's got 15 tiles still in the bag. He plays Quid. David just instantly scores 44 points with Modier. David has put himself within striking distance. He's got an E and 6 random letters with it. if he draws something lucky, there are some, satire-type letters in the pool. You could get something like, Scimitar or Smarty or something, if he's lucky. Oh, he's not very lucky. Okay. Bunch of one-pointers and the Y. Not a very good draw at all. There's 2 in the bag. Is there any way that he can fish 1? I doubt it. He plays Lie, keeping A-E-I-S-Y, and he draws my aces. Wow. This is actually very hard to block. He's got multiple spots for my aces, and this actually might win. It's a 60-point lead for Will, but I don't think he can block both spots for my aces, and they're pretty high scoring as well. This is suddenly getting a little interesting. Fortunately for Will, he's got some time to process everything. He's got 35 seconds. Okay, there's a suggestion of the chat in the chat of Hotel. So Hotel blocks all of the spots for my aces? No, it doesn't, does it? Because it just opens up my aces underneath it in line 14. He plays Other. That might do it, because now you're making HS. I think Other is going to work. Nicely done by Will to block the bingos. That is not easy to do. Yeah, Nully is not a word, so you can't play my aces here. I like the creative idea, though. And he's going to try Nully, and it's going to come off. Yep. So the phony attempt, can't blame him for trying there. It's a desperation attempt to seal the game, and Will successfully challenges, and he will win by resignation, of course. All right, so Will gets the win here in Game 7 as David resigns. Really nice attempt to steal that game by David by setting up 2 spots for my aces, but Will is able to block them both and get a very nice victory here in Game 7. So a nice win. Let's go ahead and update that score for you. Sorry about that. 5 games to 2 now. Will leads the series, but there is still a long way to go, of course. All right, so waiting on these players to begin game number 8, and hoping that'll happen in just a moment. So I'm having a brief connection issue with Twitch. I hope that it's not affecting the broadcast. I'm not sure if it is or not. I'm appearing to not have a connection right now, but I'm not sure if that's that is just with the other machine. All right, I think the stream is still working, and I think I will try to get my other laptop working at any time now. But okay, anyway, Fez for 30 is the opening play from David here in Game 8, and we will carry on. Okay, so Oestrone comes down, and Will leads here 71-48. So Kogue for 18, and then another bingo here. David gets Digester for 66. So it's 114-89, and Will is on turn with all 5 vowels. A nice A-E-I-O-U menagerie of vowels to work with. And what can be done here? This is tricky. Not seeing any great options. All right, he plays Poor for 24. That seems reasonable enough. And Viga for 24 comes back from David. So both players just kind of playing these intermediate scoring plays back and forth. Neither player bingoing. Kind of a hard board to do so. And Raise for 18, keeping a good leave. C-E-I-S-T. Will's going to try to draw something for next turn. Very close game, 138-131, but Will fishing for a bingo. Very well could hit one. It is David's turn. He plays Boar for 26, and here comes Entices. Almost certainly going to be coming right back from Will. Oh, or Niceties, that's a word, okay. So Niceties for 64 doesn't open up the triple the way Entices at K1 would have. Interesting defensive choice from Will. I'm sure he saw Entices, but he chose the other bingo. So 195, 164, a little bit of a lead for Will, but David's the one on turn. He's got 2 U's. When you can play Umu, but like not for very many points. Like Umu here is 10. Don't love it. What's better though? Maybe Emu here for 21. Already plays 22 points for and it's going to open up this triple up here for anybody who's got an A for E. So both players pretty even on time, about a minute and a half to go. And Uly's nice play by David, 43 points. Score remains pretty close, 236, 229. Will ahead by just a little bit, and he's on turn. Not a fantastic draw for him here, but I'm sure there's some ways to score a little bit. You know, something like Yoga is, 16. That's fine, I guess. You'd love to have a spot for like Ovate or something, but I'm not really seeing a great place for that. Okay, Vac for 16 seems okay. Keeping a little bit of a vowel-heavy lead, A-G-E-O-T, but he draws the J and the N. Pretty decent draw, all things considered. You're going to score something with the J, balance the rack a little bit, not too bad. So 38 points for Jest is a nice play by Will, and he's got a little bit of a lead here. David's got 3 eyes. Hate to see it. And, yeah, not really sure what he can do with those. Unfortunately, Jimmy, as in Jimi Hendrix, is not a word. It'd be a really nice play here if it were. What can you do? This is really tough. You'd love to play multiple eyes if you can, but, I mean, you tell me what to do about that situation. I don't know. All right, he just trades I, exchanging 2, keeping AEIMT, and he draws another I, but he also gets Mini-8 and Intime. He plays Intime at the bingo for 63, and a small lead, but Hoaxing is going to play for 97. Good game. Jeez. So Will is just killing it. He's going to be 6-2, barring some kind of miracle here. David's got 25 seconds to figure something out, but I don't think there's anything to figure out. There is a blank unseen. If you can draw it, I mean, you could try playing Blink here, and he does play it, and the blank is still unseen. Wow. 2 tiles in the bag, and we don't yet know who's got that blank. David's down by 64. Tough position here now for Will. You don't really want to empty it. Maybe you just make the highest scoring 1-tile play that you can and hope for the best. I don't know. This is really difficult. You're up by 64 plus whatever you score this turn. I think if you get bingoed out on, you're in trouble. All right, he just plays Whale for 49, and it blocks a lot of stuff. I don't think David's going to have anything here. There's an open T, but I don't think there's any words here with the T. Also, he's up by 123 points, so even with the bingo, Will's still going to win. I suppose, considering that, Whale is a great play, huh? Yeah, 49 points, and it's just putting this one out of reach. David has not resigned yet, but a resignation wouldn't shock me here. Will is on the verge of a 6-2 series lead. I certainly didn't expect anybody to lead this series 6-2. These are 2 extremely evenly matched players, 2 of the very best players in the world in any time control. But so far, it has been pretty commandingly Will leading this match. We're now through 8 games out of 19, and we are looking at a pretty solid Will advantage here, 6-2. We shall see. Obviously, a lot of Scrabble left, but 6-2 is a great spot for Will to be in so far. Only needs to win 4 more games to be World Blitz Scrabble champion. So we shall see. A reminder that after the match is over, don't go anywhere. We're going to have a post-game show. We're going to have myself and Jennifer both on the air, and we're going to have post-game interviews with David and Will after the match. So we'll have those guys come on video chat and ask them how their match went, and that'll be fun. So hope you guys are looking forward to that as well as the rest of the Scrabble itself. If you guys have any questions you want to ask the players, feel free to sound off in the chat and share any questions you might have for David or for Will or for both guys. We'd love to make this as interactive a show as possible. So anyway, it is 6-2 right now. Will is in control, but David's going to try to come back. IOORUXY. Not a great opening rack for Will, but he can score some points with like Oxy or something, and he'll probably be okay. Oxy for 26 comes down. And interesting draw for David to start. Not seeing any great options here, but all right, Hem for 31. So both players taking their time a little bit here in game 9. Pour for 28 comes down, and Will leads by a little bit. David's turn now here for turn 2, and what do you do with these draws? What do you do? You could do like lug or something. That's only 15 points. That's terrible. Oh, Grex is a word. Okay, Golden Grex, 28 points. Nice play. But Will draws the blank with a chance to bust this open. Ooh, Oxytones for 57. Nice play by David. Extending Oxy to the triple. But Will has still got that blank, and I'm sure he can do something. I see Fountain as one possibility through this O. I'm sure there are other bingos that play as well. Is sulfatin a word? I could be making... No, I'm not making that up. It's inflatus. All right, Fountain does come down. 70 points for Fountain. Looks like a good play, and it's back to David, who plays Zinger. I think that's his second Zinger of the match. Ooh, Weakons for 120 right out of the bag. Are you kidding me? Will Anderson with a 120-point bingo, and he takes a massive lead here in Game 9. This is just nuts. Will is in dominant form tonight. 270 to 186. Will has the lead, and it is back to David. The good news for David is he's drawn that other blank. I'm not seeing, at least at first glance, a bingo with these tiles. He would love to have... I don't know what he'd love to have. All right, Aviate for 46. Nice play. And let's see here. Only a 38-point game now after Aviate. So certainly not over. Oh, vatable is a word. There you go. Benji with a nice find there. All right, 270 to 232. Will leads, but this is certainly not over. You could play Onery, maybe. Onery keeps A-E-I-N. That's a little bit vowel heavy, but, 27 points, not bad. You could also play Oni. Oh, you could play anyone. Wow. So Will opening for a pretty aggressive board opening play despite having the lead. Wow! Butthead for 203 comes down. Oh my God. So Will makes an interesting choice to open the board, and he gets hit very, very hard by Butthead for 203. Okay. The previous turn he almost had Beavis. After that he draws Butthead. Who'd have thunk it? So David's turn to have a pretty big lead here. 440 to 326. And it's looking like David's going to have this win here in Game 9. 3 eyes for Will. He's going to play off one of them with QIN for 32. And David's just going to keep on scoring points. And the end of the game draws closer here. 130 points behind now is Will. Yeah, Lucas with a prognostication in the chat. What if Butthead turns the whole series around? I mean, definitely a turning point possibility, you know? 6 games to 2, but if David can come back from here, then we will all look at Butthead as the moment that everything changed. All right, Defiler for 69. David just keeps on scoring and Will resigns. 557, a monster score for David here in Game 9. I don't want to say must win, but a pretty important game for David to win. He did not want to be down 7 games to 2. And David does win it with Butthead for 203 being the star play of the game. So 6-3 now is your score in the match. David is starting to fight back a little bit. If you're just joining us, it is 6 games to 3 in this best of 19. David Eldar won game 1, and then Will won 6 of the next 7 to take a 6-2 series lead. He was trying to make it 7-2, and he did have the lead after playing Weak-Ons for 120. But David plays Butthead for 203 points, the highest scoring play of the match, and gets the win. All right, on to game number 10. Will leads 6-3, but it is David to go first here in game 10. Looking to close that gap a little bit more and make it 6-4. We'll see if he can do it. All right, IU for 12 points. Pretty modest beginning here, and a pretty constant heavy draw for Will on his first turn. All right, sorry about that. A little bit of a cough. All right, I'm back. All right, 28 points for Lek for Will, and sorry. Back to David. All right, so no R for Thermite. Looks like there's no other bingo possibilities here with that rack, and it's not COVID. No, I actually did have some water. I drank it too fast, so that is the problem there. Drank my water too fast and paid the price for it. Not COVID. Just got my vaccine yesterday. I'm in good shape in that department. All right. So anyway, 40-28. Will is on turn, down by just a little bit here. Thanks, James. Appreciate the support. I'm trying to stay strong. It's a long match, man. It's grueling. Not just for the players, for broadcasters too. It's just hard work. It's hard work. All right. Lap for 25 comes down from Will, and David has drawn the second M to go with his first M. He plays Umami. 21-point play, nicely done, and a nice opening for the QU here for Will, something like Choir or Quine. He does play Choir for 48, and we're going to see a bingo in response from David. It's going to be David's lead as soon as he plays one of his many, many bingo options here. Yes, vaccine gang, definitely. Hope we are all in that gang. Got to get the whole world vaccinated so we can get back to normal life and normal in-person Scrabble and all of that. All right, Tetros for 79 is the choice for David. He had plenty of options, and he chooses that one. And it's back to Will, who's down by 39 points now, and he's got this open spot at 8L for some kind of play. Maybe begs. When he plays Gub, really wants to hold on to his S, apparently. Z and the X. Lots of high-scoring stuff for David Eldar to work with here. What shall he do with his Z and his X? All right, Zip for 45. Nice play by David, holding on to that X for some more scoring next turn. And Will has drawn losings, which is something he doesn't have very many of in this match. Only has 3 losings to go with his 6 winnings. All right, 77 points for that word, and he takes the lead. Yeah, no lossing, just losings. All right, Exalt for 60. Nice X play from David. So he first scores with the Z, then he scores with the X, and David has the lead here. 245 to 196. And for Will, not a bingo rack here, and not a fantastic scoring opportunity either. Yeah, Caved is not bad. 32 points for Caved, holding on to his F for some more scoring next turn. Oh, he draws Flirted. He's got a bingo, but I don't think Flirted goes. Am I wrong? Is there a spot for flirted? I don't think there is. So 51 points for Wenched, and David Eldar adding to his lead here. And trifled is also a word, but I don't think there's a spot for trifled either. No anti-vaxxers allowed. No anti-vaxxerism of any kind in this chat is permitted. Absolutely not. We are pro-vaccine here at the Coco. We are pro getting the world healthy and getting out of this COVID mess. Pro-vaxxers only. All right, 296, 261. A little bit of a lead here for David. He scores 29 points with the J, and Will is going to try to keep pace here. D1 for 40 points, but he's still a little bit behind. Frosted's for 82. David is inching closer to another win here. Looking like he's going to make this a 6-4 match. All of a sudden, things get a little interesting. Will is down by 106 with 9 tiles in the bag, and it looks like there's just not much to be done. Maroon opens a triple-triple, but, well, that's interesting. Okay, he's just going to block it. He could have played, actually, there's no spot for ironing, was there? He couldn't have played the bingo because there was no spot for it. All right, just ironing will kill the triple, and it looks like Will's going to give up on winning this game. He just passes. I'm not sure why David just passed his turn. I think this is in protest of Will not resigning. He's just going to pass his turns. I think he's doing this to prove a point that like Will should have resigned because there was no way to win even if he passed. Yes, you can be anti-Rexine. That is permissible in the chat. All right, David Eldar wins 431 to 403. Your final score. So he was down 6 games to 2, and now it's 6-4. Things get a little bit interesting. Long series still. Will's just got to win 4 of the final 9 games to win the match. So when you put it that way, it is certainly doable, but it is certainly not a foregone conclusion either. 6 games to 4. Will leads the series. Small break, says Josh. Okay. Appreciate somebody watching the Eldar stream and letting me know when Eldar is going to take a small break. In that case, we'll take a quick look at the bracket again. So just looking at the road here for Will. Will got past Aaron Bader, 5 games to 3 in the first round of the playoffs. Got past Jesse Day, 6.5 to 4.5. That was a crazy match, as I believe Jesse and Will tied the very first game, like 4-13 to 4-13. And it was looking like it could have been a complete tie of 5.5 through 11, but Will managed to win game 10 by like the narrowest of margins. I think it was like 484 to 482, and just barely squeaked past Jesse in the second round. And then he beats Edward Oculus 7 games to 5 in the semifinals, and now he's in the final. So very impressive road here for Will, getting past a lot of tough players. As for Eldar, beating Matthew O'Connor 5-1 in the first round, and Andrew Fisher 6 games to 0 in the second. A very, very impressive road here for David as well. And then he beat Janul Silva in the semifinals last week, 7 games to 5. That was a crazy match too, with Janul actually leading 5 games to 3, and looking like trouble for David. But David roared back and won all of games 9, 10, 11, and 12 to take the match. So very, very exciting road to the finals here. We've had 13 weeks of Scrabble in total, and we began with 80 players, and we got only 2 players left. So back to the board where game number 11 is getting underway. And Will would love to go second and get a K for Kilobaud, or probably other bingos as well. But going first, he's got to play something. He plays Bluid. I believe that's a word meaning blood, for 22, and maybe Lifeway here, just blow up the rack and score a little bit from that L. I believe this is a word, right? Lifeway for 32 seems like a thing. But Will taking his time here, or sorry, David taking his time here to peruse his options. All right, he plays Flowey for 28, keeping more vowels. I don't love that. But he'll have his chances to bingo now with the blank on his rack. Maybe nothing on this turn. Not seeing a 7-letter bingo. Not seeing an 8 from the D or the W or the Y. But, okay, Vouge, nice play. 29 points, going for a bingo next turn. Keeping AIO blank. You're going to need to draw some consonants here. We'll see. We'll see. 62 to 57. And looks like Sequoia is the playable bingo here for David. He's got AIOU Q blank. That is fun. Already plays Kike for 74 instead of Sequoia. That might be better. 74 rather than Sequoia for a similar score, opening up the triple-triple. Zuier, 44-point play, burning through those vowels and the Z for Will. And David draws the second blank as well. Very good draw for David. So, does he open the triple-triple this time? I'm not sure what other option he has. Like, obviously he's got words like iodates and things here in line J. It would be great to avoid opening the triple-triple if he can. Does he have anything from the D? I'm not sure if he does. All right, he'll just play iodated. I didn't see anything better myself. All right, so iodated, and now not a fantastic draw really for Will. He's got 4 vowels, some doubled up I's and O's. Okay, opioid. 21-point play to play off those tiles. Very strong, I think. Keeping just the RT, he draws 3 R's. Not a great rack unless you got an A for narrator, which you don't. All right, Nar, nice play, keeping just RT for a leave. And I'm seeing a ridiculous phony. I somehow don't think this is good, but had to point it out anyway. What does David actually have in real life? Maybe just bull? Oh, blush. There you go. So David leads by almost 100 points, 264 to 177, and Will's got to exchange with all 7 consonants here. Not a great position for Will, so this was a 6-2 lead for Will, but we could be looking at 6-5 in a moment, so this is all of a sudden getting very, very interesting. Clang for 22. David just playing through a lot of consonants himself. And Jut for 29 comes down. David is up by 105, sorry. 105 points. And this is going to be very, very tough for Will to come back. Not resigned territory quite yet, but getting close to it. 19 tiles in the bag. You're going to need to bingo twice at least. It's not the best board in the world to bingo twice, but you know, you got some open space here in the top left, some open space in the right side of the board as well. If you can draw very, very well, multiple turns in a row, starting right now, then you got a shot. You got a shot. All right, so Whist is going to keep, what is that, FRS for a leave, and I don't think anything's going to play on this board here for David. Rented, though, is going to cut off bingo options for Will, and that bad draw is also going to cut off bingo options for Will. You're not going to bingo with FNRRSTV. Over 100 points down still, but Will's doing the best he can to play through it. Sparred for 37. That is a word, apparently. Huh. Apparently Will didn't know it either. Challenges for the +5, and David's lead is now 111 points with 2 in the bag. So definitely looking like resigned territory at this point, but Will's got too much pride to give up. He plays any for 6 points, setting up Caney with his C, but terrible letters with it. Yeah, Magi is going to kill off the spot and also put David ahead by 128 points. All right, finally Will resigns, and your score is now 6-5. So David is looking to come all the way back here and make this a tied-up series, and he is certainly looking like he's got the momentum at this point. 6-5 after being down 6-2. All right, on to game number 12 in this best of 19 series. Kumara for 34 comes down. All right, so Kumara for 34. As I managed to take a sip of my water without coughing uncontrollably. It's a win for me. All right, 65 points for Druxier from Will with that first blank. Iridize for content, also for burning through your million eyes. Larnies is a word. Yep, Larnies does come down. 104 points for Larnies, but then Peonies right back. We got a banger of a game of 12 here. Wow. So, 6-tile play, bingo, 6-tile play, bingo, bingo. Just a very sprawling board to start here. And only a small lead for Will. 36 points up. And now the Z is on Will's rack. What's the best Z play here? You have Za, obviously. That's 44. Is there anything better than that? Maybe Zati is better? 50 points? Sets up this hot spot here, though. Is there anything else? What are we seeing? There's also the hot spot here. Like you can play a word like Za there for 37. Yeah, he does choose Zati. And Talegio is going to come down, and it sure does. Ooh, Larnies extended to Blarneys. 57 points for that B hook of Blarneys and Pub. Beautiful play by Will, and he's a bingo up here. Will looking to hold off that David Eldar comeback in this match. He was up 6-2, now it's 6-5. Will looking to get back in the driver's seat here. Up by a bingo. David's got the J. What can be done with that J? Dojo for 42 looks very strong. Nice play by David, and it's a bad draw for Will. Pub kept C, E, G, V, W, and then he just draws more consonants. Pituites? I can't say that word. Whatever it is 90 points for David and the lead. So a very real possibility of a 6-6 tied series here. And lots of copy pasta. You hate to see it in the chat. All right, 339, 298. Will is behind now. Seeing some go Will in the chat, but right now, David is in control, I think. Not a very good draw for Will, and he's down by 41 points all of a sudden. No, hate means hate. I hate to see it. I fail to see how just copying and pasting the same text over and over again qualifies as fun, but to each his own, I suppose. All right, 57 points for Ria Vow. Nice play by David, adding to his lead. Looking like he is in the driver's seat for sure right now. So David Eldar was down 6-2, and he's looking like he's going to make it an even score here of 6-6. Doesn't have the R in the right spot for Arointed. Doesn't have the N in the right spot for Tanoid. Looks like his bingos are not playing here. Will's now behind by, I believe, 88 points if I can do math correctly. And it's looking pretty hopeless. He goes over on time, so now it's 98. Colin, you're going to bed. I didn't think you ever slept. But appreciate you being here for the match, and I'm glad you enjoyed it while it lasted. All right, so Bird for 30 comes down, and Nethead is the bingo that doesn't play for Will this time. I don't believe Nethead plus a C makes any 8-letter words. So, looking like David's got this. A desperation opening from Will. Ferns for 36 comes down, and it's looking like David's got this. $493 to $365. David is looking to polish off his 4th straight victory here and make it a 6-6 tied series. Yeah, it looks like no possible bingo through that C. Yeah, EDH was an interesting attempt to open another bingo lane, but he doesn't quite draw the right tiles for it, and David will win by a final score of 530 to 434. And as Lucas correctly predicted, Butthead was a turning point in this match. So the score in the match was 6-2, and it is now 6-6. But if you guys recall, it was back when Butthead was played that everything turned around. Oh, did Foundering say it too? Okay. I guess there was more than one person saying that Butthead would be the turning point. In any event, we are all tied up 6-6, and what began as a best of 19 is now a best of 7. Whoever can win 4 of these last 7 games will win the match and be the World Blitz Scrabble champion. All right, so I'm really enjoying the updates on Eldar's stream. All right, carries for 80 points. Is Eldar telling himself to shut up? Is that what's happening? I'm not quite sure I understand the context there. All right, carries for 80 points is the bingo to open this one here for Will. And then Dovering for 73 to second bingo. So it's looking like Will is going to have a good shot at his first win in a while here after 4 straight losses. Speaking of wins, that's 2 straight sips of water for me with 0 coughs. Love to see it. All right, juried for 44, opening the J in the triple lane for David, but Pooja for 42 from Will, killing that spot and scoring well. Ooh, low baited, nice double-double, non-bingo for 44 points. Both players just scoring very well here. Drinking fluids is hard. I don't want to hear. Yeah, my drinking problem is pretty bad right now. All right, 24 points for Lurid. So Will is up by a solid bingo margin here. And we'll see what David can do to come back. And Hui comes down for 26 points plus 5 for the challenge on Pooja with the H. Nice play by David. 219 to 167. A little bit of a lead here for Will, and he's on turn as well. You can do something like maybe Homie would be 34. Seems pretty reasonable here. Okay, Hoy is 33. Very similar idea, keeping an extra consonant on your rack. Wafting is a word that appears to not play here. I don't believe there's an actual playable bingo here for David Eldar. All right, 15 points for 4, setting up a 4. So he's got AGINTW. He could draw like an N for wanting, an R for ringtaw, etc. The E is not a great tile, I don't think. What are you going to play with your E? You don't have an open R for watering, for example. I don't believe there's a playable bingo. Usually when you fish one tile, you like to draw an E, but I think with this particular stem of ATGINW, the E is not too helpful. All right, U for 24 seems pretty good, but Will is up by a bingo here. 78 points, sorry. 78 plus whatever he scores this turn. Ooh! And after fishing, David draws the Q. That is ugly. Not a good time for the Q. QI for 27. And Quinos comes down for 30 points. Yeah, QW, not a very good draw at all. He kept a pretty good leave of AGINT, and he drew QW. Oh, yeah, it's pointed out that Macaronis is playable. Yeah, Maca plus 5 letters to the right of it. Macaronis would have worked for Will there, but he plays Quinos instead. Pretty similar scores, I guess. I can't count. I guess Macaronis is a little bit more. Yeah, Deldar needs another butthead play. We've seen that when Deldar draws butthead, things tend to turn around for him for the better. But he might only have one triple of butthead for 203 in him in a match. So 334 to 260. Will's got himself a pretty solid lead here, 74 points up. Non-games, 63-point play from David. Will's got all consonants except for that blank. What can he do with the blank? What does it even mean to have so many copy pastas? You can just like type any random characters you want to and it's a copy pasta. There's no skill involved in that. Oh yeah, non-games is not a word. Non-game takes no S. So a phony from David, but he gets away with it. 323, I should say. Will has himself a small lead despite the phony bingo. 3 phony bingos for Eldar. Wow. So non-games, what were the first 2? I can't remember. So seat for 18 is the play from David. Only down by 27 points, and Will's in some time trouble as well, but a bingo is certainly coming here. Something like increase would put him up by about 100. Yeah, increase does come down, and he leads by 101 to be exact. And it looks like there isn't much that David can do from that deficit. He does have the X, but he's just behind by too much. Yeah, getting away with phonies against Will is very tough, but first of all, this is Blitz, and second of all, I think David's got a lot of credibility with the words he plays, so phonies are possible, even against somebody with world-class word knowledge, which Will absolutely does have. All right, David is going to let his clock run out on his first 3 minutes, so he's going to be minus 10. He was down by 101, now it's 111, but not resigning just yet. Why is copy pasta guaranteed? Why is that? I just don't get it. All right, David resigns, and it is a 7-6 lead for Will Anderson over David Eldar in this match. So David, after 4 straight losses, Will after 4 straight losses gets a win. Let me put that win on the right player. It is 7-6. Will leads the series. So a nice game for Will. Despite allowing that phony bingo, he manages to stay ahead and take a 7-6 lead in the match. This is a best of 10, so Will needs 3 more wins to close out the match and become World Blitz Scrabble champion. Just a reminder that we will have a post-game show after this. We're going to have both Will and David on video chat to discuss their games. If you guys have any questions for David and or Will, please feel free to share your questions in the chat, and we will ask them later on when these guys come online. So we're going to have a few more games here. 7-6, Will leads the match. He's still got to win 3 more. And we shall see what happens. I was predicting going in we're going to have a long match, and it looks like that is indeed what we're in store for. Or what's in store for us? You know what I mean. 7-6, Will leads the series, but David has been definitely full of fight, competing to get back in this match. He was down 6-2 and he won 4 straight, but as you guys were saying, the turning point of the match was Butthead. It was a 6-2 lead, and then it all turned around on Butthead. All right, game 14. This is the first time ever I've said game 14 in any Scrabble tournament context, but first time for everything. Game 14 starts with an exchange from David and Need for 30 points from Will. Sierrans comes down 62 points, and that is not valid. That is 0 points. Sierran does not take an S, so the phony bingos get challenged off sometimes. As Sierrans comes off, and it is Will getting a free turn to exchange his cue. He trades 4, keeping D-E blank, a very good leave. And it's back to David, who's got a score of 0 so far. Maybe he'll try and fish something. All right, he plays Kearns for 18, keeping ARS for a leave. And I think we're going to see a bingo here, but I'm not sure what it's going to be. I'm not seeing a super high scoring. Oh yeah, Doughtiest is a word. Nice job by Josh to find that one. Yeah, Doughtiest looks very, very strong. You can play it here for 89 points. And that will put Will in a pretty solid position. All right, Twisted for 79 instead. Little bit of a miss there, but Will is pretty solidly in the lead either way. So 109 to 18. Will has the advantage here in game number 14. Wow, so Eldar apparently said he's letting everything else go. That is a bold try if he played Sierras as an intentional phony. That is some high probability stuff. All right, herbs for 42. David just keeps on scoring points. And not a fantastic draw post-bingo for Will. The W and a bunch of one-pointers. Yeah, I don't think I would have tried Sierrans on Will if I were David. That's a very bold attempt against a player with very, very strong word knowledge. But he gives it a try and pays the price for it. Losing a turn, letting Will exchange his cue, and then Will gets the first bingo down after that. All right, Rowie for 16 points. And a whole bunch of A's. Ooh, is Anna Bina playable? Yes, it is. Wow, 63-point bingo with all 4 of those A's for David Eldar. And now favor for 38 comes down from Will. So we got a fairly close game. Will ahead by 40, but David on turn. Bond is going to roughly tie it up. Only 3-point lead now for Will. I see equity. Yep, equity does come down. 57 points for that. And yeah, the cue came back. He exchanged it and then drew it again, but this time it's a good cue. 57-point cue to be exact. So Will leads 220 to 160. Very for 26, played by David. Will now with the lead of 34 points, and he's on turn. And no C for pandemic, but there is an A for pandemia. So Pandemia plays for 66 here. Yes, very, very relevant indeed. Ooh, Pandemia is missed. All right, Penman for 32 instead. Sad. And it looks like no bingo for Will either, for David either. Traumatic didn't quite fit. So Will, after the missed bingo, does still lead here. 40 points ahead, 252 to 212. And he plays off the X for 36 points, adding to his lead. Looking like no spot for a bingo here. Is there a place to play Scooter or anything like that? At first glance, I don't see anything. Will should adjudicate games as 0-0 if both players play badly. I mean, if you do that, you got to at least have an adjustment for Blitz, because badly in Blitz is relative. It is very, very hard to play with perfect accuracy in 3-minute games. Obviously, David and Will are 2 of the best players in the world. They're not going to miss stuff very often, but in Blitz, stuff happens. Fully understandable. All right, no for 8 points is the try from David here, trying to fish for a bingo. It's just a hard board, though. Even if you do draw well, where's it going? All right, you draw the H, and yeah, I just don't know about bingoing on this board. It is not easy to do. Obviously, there are 7s here. There's Hectors and Roches and so on and so forth. But on this board, it is very hard to get one down. David trails by 85 points now. He just plays Hector from his rack of Hectors, and Will's going to bingo again. Ooh, 133-point lead for Will Anderson, and David Eldar resigns. 8 games to 6. Will leads the match, and we are drawing a little closer to Will potentially being crowned World Blitz Scrabble Champion. He needs 2 more wins to close out this match. I'm seeing some yay Will in the chat, but this is not over. 8 games to 6 is a nice lead, but David has been proven already capable of a comeback. Let's go ahead and adjust that scoreboard for you. It is now 8 games to 6, and Will needs to just win 2 out of these final 5. And Will opens with a blank here in game 15. All right, so Nib for 10 points. He's still got 2 more ends, but the blank is certainly something you like seeing at this stage. Will Anderson 2 games away from closing out this championship, but David Eldar, one of the highest rated players in the world and a very strong Blitz competitor, would not expect him to go down without a fight. 8-6 is not too big of a lead. You know, if David just wins 2 games in a row, he's right back in it, and he is most definitely capable. So Will, with all consonants to go with that blank, he has to exchange 3 of them, keeping NST blank. And, all right, high for 24 comes down. And now Denton's for 88, the play from Will. So Will, a little bit of a lead here early. I don't think there's a bingo playable here. There's no, like, recamped. You might want to just play camped. Just take out the triple and score what you can. Is there anything better than that? I don't know. So camped here is 39. And, like, M-Purse is probably not worth doing. Just opens up a whole lot of stuff for your opponent. I feel like camped is probably the choice here. All right, so he does play it, and then Inia for 8 comes down. Yeah, M-Purse for content. I don't think this is the for content stage. This is the finals of this tournament. You've been playing for 13 weeks. This is no time for messing around. All right, Foo for 20 comes down from David. Very close game, 110 to 106. Will got the first bingo, but David has kept scoring pretty nicely. Camp was 39, and Inia was only 8 points for Will. Looking like still no bingo, I think. Nice balanced rack for David here, but I don't think it bingos. Okay, he just plays decamped. Creative way to play off your D and your E, keeping a good lead, but Will bingos with printed for 79 and the lead. And I don't think a draw of OY is what David wanted to see here. All right, Yapon for 36 is a solid scoring play, keeping him within striking distance. And now it's back to Will, ahead by 38. And I'm not sure what to do with this rack. What does he have? This is a tricky one. Will's got plenty of time to think about it. Uva for 23. And David just playing through too many E's and R's. Looks like you need an H here for Bahuki. But if you don't have that, it's not a very good rack. I don't see a great spot for like Bookie or anything like that either. All right, Koi for 29 is the choice from Will. That seems fine. So Will's ahead by a bingo still, and David is drawing not very well still. Not a great position. Yeah, almost kablooey, yeah, but no kablooey either, no L. All right, just fishing away a couple of vowels here is David, trying to draw something. His leave is outer, O-U-T-E-R. And looking like no bingo possibilities for Will either. And what does David have now? This looks like something. Why am I not seeing it? There's a word here, right? Maybe not. Not seeing it. Almost has like unrotten. This plus an S is stenter. But yeah, it looks like on this board you don't quite have the right letter here. So David is down by 79 points, and he's got a tough rack here with these one-pointers that he can't do much with. All right, he just plays Doot for 10. Will with kind of an awkward draw as well, but he's just going to keep on scoring what he can, and yeah, Buff is going to put him ahead by 89 points. The J and the Z both drawn at the same time. He kept ENRT and he drew JVZ. That is one of the more bizarre draws I've seen in this match for David Eldar. Behind by 99 after going over on time. Clock really ticking away. He's still got 18 tiles in the bag. And this looks like a pretty good bingo rack. Although actually maybe he doesn't have anything. He would have embroils through a B, but it won't fit because U is on the board there. Lorimers. Oh, yeah, that's a word. All right, Lorimers does play through this R. Nice find by Benji in the chat, as well as Foundering, and I'm sure others are seeing that as well. Yeah, Lorimers is a word. And eventually Will does find it. And David plays Les for 26, but he is far, far behind. 105-point lead for Will, with a chance to push David to the brink of elimination here. It's an 8-6 series lead for Will, and it's about to be 9-6 unless David does something pretty drastic. All right, he resigns. And Will Anderson is now 1 win away from being your Blitz champ. 9 games to 6, Will with the lead. Yeah, seeing some Rip David in the chat. We'll see. If anybody can win 4 in a row, it is him. But obviously a great spot for Will Anderson to be in right now. Up 9-6 in this best of 19 series, looking to win number 10. Just a reminder, there will be a post-game show. If anybody's got any questions for David and or Will, feel free to share them in the chat, and we will have a little conversation with those guys after the match. But for now, Will's got to win 1 more. 9-6, he leads the series, looking to close this thing out. Seeing some leet goo, to quote, I believe, the Eric Rosen strain. Leet goo. Let's go, Will. All right, 24-14, David with the opening lead so far. And it is David on turn. He's going to play Avos for 30 points, 54-14. It's going to be must win every single game from here on out for David Eldar. He must win every game to stay alive. Frab for 26. Vowel heavy draw for David. David Eldar looking to stay alive here in BlitzChamps. He must win game 16. And then game 17, and then game 18, and then game 19. No pressure. So David with this very vowel-heavy rack. You've got this Q to play through, so you've got your options, like quinoa at 17, looks somewhat reasonable. You could also just play like Ural for 8. All right, Akwe for 16. Sure, why not? So Will behind by 30 points now. You could do something like Pageant. Yep, and he does play Pageant for 20 points. 70-60. Fairly low scoring start for both players. Nobody bingoing really, and nobody scoring that heavily either. Will's played pretty fast. Only 32 seconds off his clock after 3 turns. All right, Haloid for 24 comes down. David opening that triple-triple, but Will is in no position to use it. Not a very good draw. Wait a minute, is monofuel a word? Yes, it is, and it comes down. 80 points for monofuel, and Will has the lead here in Game 16. A chance to win this championship. A long way to go in this game, though. David only down by 46. And let's see here. What can he do? He doesn't have any vowels for overlapping that M in monofuel, so he can't really make a word there. But he can play Nim from the spot at 1H for 27. Not bad. Seeing some chants in the chat of Will. Will scores 42 points with Fiddly here. But David bingos. Wow, the Z and the J and the blank all drawn at once by Will. Let's see him work his magic here. What do you do with this embarrassment of riches? Okay, Jizz for 49, keeping the blank. EOR blank is going to bingo a lot of the time for Will. He's already up 36, and he's got a likely bingo coming. No N for Sawbones here. Looks like no bingo playable for David. Minute and 13 seconds on his clock. So, time running out here for David. He's got to do something. All right, he plays Spa, and Will's got Erosion or Animal, or he plays Erosion. Colby's is drawn by David. Looks like no spot for Colby's, though. Oh, yes, there is. Okay, Colby's and Erosions does play for 72. We got a very close game now. I think Garvox might be a word, but no spot for that. Wow, Sawbones is good. You guys are crazy. How do you know this stuff? Garvox with a C like that. Yeah, that's the word that there is no spot for on this board, sadly. All right, so Will taking his time. He's now down by 4 points. All right, ooh, he plays Kassar for 42. Very nice scoring play, keeping that blank. GV blank, and he draws Evenge blank. He plays Revenge, and that might do it. Revenge for 77, and David resigns. There goes your match. Will Anderson is your World Blitz Scrabble champion. Revenge for 77 is your winning play, and that will do it. David Eldar resigns, and your final score in the match is Will Anderson, 10 games, David Eldar 6. Your Blitz champion for 2021 is Will Anderson. That 10 won't even fit on the screen, such a big win total. Look at that. So Will wins the match in 16 games, 10 games to 6. Revenge for Butthead, says Nitz. Exactly, revenge for Butthead. So congratulations to Will on winning the match, 10 games to 6, and he is your champion. Very, very nicely done. This was just a very competitive match the whole way, and in the end, Will Anderson gets the win. You love to see it. Will is a great player and a great guy, a great ambassador for the game of Scrabble, and a very, very deserving champion. 13 weeks of play, and Will goes 13-0 in his matches, beating a lot of great players along the way here. As you can see, he took down Aaron Bader, Jesse Day, Edward Oculus, and now David Eldar as well. We can go ahead and change this TBD in the bracket. Your champion has been determined, and it is not Will Anderson. It is actually Will Anderson, and I'm going to type his name properly. So Will gets the win, and he is your World Blitz Scrabble champion. Congratulations to Will. We are going to, in just a little bit, try and get these guys on stream to talk to them a little bit about their match. And I'm going to quickly text those guys and remind them. I believe they have the URL for the Google Meet. And I should try and join that myself. So I'm going to find the Google Meet and let those guys in, and we will have a little post-game show in just a moment. All right, so really looking forward to seeing these guys in the chat, and let me pull that up right now. Again, if you guys have any questions for Will or for David or for both in the chat, feel free to share, and we will try to get that post-game show going in a little bit. Don't go anywhere. All right. Oh, I think I'm in the wrong Google account. Let me get that right. Okay. So congratulations again to Will Anderson. 10 games to 6. He wins the match. And, oh. Okay, my video is off. I'm going to turn that on. Thank you, guys. I know where the button is. All right, so hey chat, I'm trying to get all the video and the audio working, and we will have that in a moment. This is always a little bit tricky, but we will we'll be with you shortly. All right, for some reason my video is not working, which is very strange. I'm going to try to leave the chat and come back and see if that helps. For some reason, yeah, all right. I'm going to put up the standby screen on the stream so I'm not streaming my email account, which would be weird. All right, let's try, and I'll be right back in 2 seconds. All right, so sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. We will have the post-game show in just a moment, but we are trying to get the all the audio and all the video for all the people working at all the same time. Should be working in just a moment if I can just get all of the things to work at the same time. All right, I am attempting to join the video chat, and camera failed. Yeah, for some reason my camera is failing. I don't know why, but yeah. All right, so hello Twitch. Can you guys see and hear the video chat? I am trying to broadcast the chat and talk into it and have all that work. The audio is there, but it's faint. Turn up my desktop. Okay, thank you, Benji. I will do that. All right, let's turn up the desktop audio. Oh, the desktop audio is muted. That probably explains that. All right. How about now? Can Jennifer or Will or David talk and we'll test that out?
Hey there.
Yo.
I hear...
All right, cool. You guys hear people talking now?
Hi, I am Twitch personality Will Anderson.
Perfect.
Welcome.
We can hear now. Okay, excellent. All right, David, Will, congrats on the match. Will, congrats on the win.
Well, I think congrats to Will. He definitely beat me pretty good.
I mean, so it took me out. I thought it was 4, maybe just 3 phony bingos for me to finally challenge one. Like,
I think I got carried away.
I mean, that's so bad. I mean, yeah. I mean, Sierrans, I have to see. I have to see that one. The other ones were clever.
Yeah,
I just
that wasn't good, but it would have been funny.
It would have been very funny had I let that slip too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the others, like, maybe I would catch those if it was a slow poke game and I could think about it a little and say, oh yeah. that's the one rap word that doesn't take a T and tease out, the other ones.
I didn't actually know that. Like, that's not familiar to me.
So did all 3 of those words you
five.
So
there's 6 rap words and 5 of them take T, and unwrapped is the one that doesn't for whatever reason.
Right. But I was just curious how many of the words you played were intentional, just exploiting me.
No, 0. I mean, when I played
Sierras, maybe. Actually, non-games. Okay.
When I played in the Yellows, I think I said, like, I'm pretty sure this isn't a word, but I've played it numerous times before, and
I just didn't think of it.
If I believe it's a word hard enough, maybe you believe it's a word.
That's exactly what happened.
Like, also, the way with that one, like, because it exposes the S, the first thing you're gonna look at is probably the S anyway. You're not gonna look at my words.
Yeah, what did I play a big J play after that?
Yeah, you played.
Okay, so I think I was just like, ooh, yes, S is there. And I was
it wasn't even good. I mean, my best play was however you say
whatever. Right, which I would never find. But in general, I feel embarrassed that I didn't challenge those phonies, and I feel like without question, I must have drawn more than my share of blank. It felt like every game I practically started with a blank or something good. So
I don't know. I definitely felt like I was getting outdrawn, but I also don't feel like I played particularly well. So I don't know. Like, if you challenged all my phonies, you would have won like 10-0.
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah, I mean, without question, I feel I had the better set of tiles. Had the better tiles. I really that's not who I won. I drew great. So
I'm less convinced, but I'll take it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure like I didn't have time to look through every single game. So I would love to hear any big boo-boos I made. I'm sure I'll go through the games at some point.
I didn't see most of your racks. I saw the chat helpfully. I missed a bingo in one game. I missed deities in one game, but like it was a huge error, like a 40-point error. But that's all I know about. That's the only miss. And then and then 4 phonies. That's all, or 3.
Yeah, Butthead. People are asking about Butthead, and I just couldn't find the play I wanted. I'm never finding like Anodyne or whatever. There was some crazy overlapping play there.
Anyway, I had thumbed there for 90. So.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'm just in trouble. Yeah.
You're in deep trouble already, but like that made it over.
Yeah. So in that case, I feel a little better, but I should have still found Onery there. That's the play I wanted there. I see a lot of questions in the chat here.
Yeah, I guess the first question I wanted to ask you guys was just how did you guys feel about the length of the match? I mean, I know that both of you guys were the 2 players pushing the most for like longer and longer matches. Will was like, hey, let's do escalating 13, 11, 15 for the last 3 rounds. And David was like, no, let's do 30, 40 games. Now that you've actually played a long series, just like what was that like? And was it hard to kind of manage the fatigue of playing so many games, or was it okay?
Do you want to answer first or me, Will?
Sure. I mean, I definitely felt like because it's Blitz and, I just felt like it was kind of a wake-up call in the early parts of the bracket where some of those matches literally took like half an hour to complete. So given that, I'm always one that would prefer to play enough to establish, who played / drew better. But I was thinking of it more from a content perspective of like, we got to make sure that these juicy matchups like take an hour or 2, just so that the viewership can really bite their teeth into it. So I don't think I'm quite as much of a degen as David in terms of like being willing to play like best of 50, best of 99 or whatever. Like I'm starting to feel a little fatigued. Like, slippage was probably coming if I didn't wrap that up in game 16. So that's my answer.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, I actually just feel like, it's like I just took the first bite, right? Like I could play another 40 games or something. I feel like we just started. I'm actually a bit upset that it's such a short series. I mean, not in terms that I lost. Like, I think Will beat me fair and square for sure. But I could like, I barely, for me, quite often that I'm getting to play another 2100 rated player in like the best of however many. So I could definitely feel like another 40, 50 games or something just to make a real match out of it.
Well, maybe we should be even more ambitious at some point.
I mean, if you're ever keen to set up like a solid like 6-hour grind sesh, then I'm definitely keen to post it and stream it. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
My brain is preemptively falling out of my head, but
yeah.
That may be a nice segue to one of the questions that we got from players in the chat of what kind of tournament format would you like to see next?
I think this was a great format, frankly.
What? Oh, right. Yeah.
I really like this format. It led to really exciting playoff battles, and then obviously all of the playoff matches were pretty great. So I think it was. What's happening with my camera here? I think my feeling is that this tournament is like a great format to repeat on some kind of, I don't know, not too often basis. Maybe twice a year. This thing did take what, like 15 weeks or something?
13 weeks.
Excuse me, only 13.
Yeah, a quick 13-week tournament. I think that could probably be modified.
Yeah, it was long. When Evans first pitched the idea for me, I thought, oh my God.
Well, we didn't know it was going to be 13. It was dependent on how many players signed up. But then, 80
That's
people
true.
signed up, and so we're stuck with 13 weeks. Yeah, it was a grind, but it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, super amazing initiative, guys. I think it's really, especially for like a first time tournament. I think this is really impressive.
Oh, thanks.
For sure.
Yeah,
Echoing that.
What I put forward actually to a couple of you, I think, was well, for a start, I mean, this tournament, in my opinion, it doesn't work in the current format. Like, there needs to be divisions, just like in any tournament, because I mean, it's got pros and cons, right? Like, it might be, I don't know, maybe some people really enjoy getting wiped out 9-0, but I think the majority don't, on both sides. And for me, I'd be very interested to see like a higher level, like a blind hidden cup style tournament where, although I'm not sure we really have enough community to support it, where the names of the players are not known, but they're given like sobriquets or anonymous names, and you play like just from the quarterfinals down to 2, and you have to guess who the 2 players are.
That would be, I mean, you floated that idea before, and it just blew my mind completely. How nothing like that has ever been done. Like
masquerade.
Yeah, I just stole it from Age of Empires, who do that tournament, and it's extremely popular. And the format is actually really entertaining.
I think that's only viable if people who stream wear costumes on stream.
No, there's
no masquerade.
there's no streaming, right? There's just a commentator who shows every game, and no one is named until all the games have been played.
It's a very interesting idea. I would be game for that.
Sounds fun.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe the matches should just more steeply move up in number of games in the next iteration of BlitzChamps, so that the finals is even longer. I mean, I guess, it's the only thing. I'm sure it was a lot of fun to watch. It was certainly nerve-wracking to play. So next time, when I inevitably do not repeat this performance, it will be a pleasure to actually watch an even longer match.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that'd be the most interesting format. Other than that, I don't know if there's any other than like a format with like longer series, because best of 9 is kind of like between 2 even players. It's pretty random who wins.
On the question of randomness versus cheating, Will, we have a question for you. Of which one of your cats helped you to cheat?
Today is a door closed affair for me. No cats. I'll have to play with them afterwards. So it's just me and my brain, unfortunately, which is why I clearly.
I was gonna say, like, if you're cheating, man, you need to reevaluate the cheating strategy.
Yeah, I think it should be pretty clear that wasn't occurring, because I made more than my share of mistakes. So I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable with the level of play that I showed. I think I did some good plays, and then I did some very human boo-boos, and just drew well enough to mask that. So
I mean, it's funny because the one note I had on you previously to this match is like that you play more than a normal amount of phonies, so I gotta make sure to challenge everything.
That's normally like that. I seem to do that against you for some reason, way more than against most people.
Maybe it's just because you're streaming a lot, and it's harder to focus on what words you're playing.
Yeah, I think next time I would like to add that for David to have been streaming his end and sort of commentating his side of the match is a little bit of a nerf. So, in the future for this, I do think it would be great to iron out some kind of procedure where the players are in equal measure, sort of on stream, the way that we had a couple matches on Josh's stream that were like that, where I appeared on camera. Aaron Bader, Jesse Day also appeared on camera. Like, the more we can do that sort of takes the burden off people to actually commentate their own games, the better a level of play you're going to get. I certainly found that when I don't have to focus on talking or interacting or even thinking about being the sort of subject of a broadcast, I just play better. It's only natural.
Sure.
You're spending less cognitive energy thinking about that stuff. So
yeah, there was somebody in the chat who'd commented, well, that on one of your bingos, if you'd been streaming, you would have said, oh, I see this word, and then talked about how you saw it before you placed it for another 10 or 15 seconds. Whereas in this match, you just slammed it down.
Yeah, I feel way faster when I don't have to even think about speaking.
Yeah.
So
it
is a nerf. It is a nerf.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not playing for really any stakes other than pride. So I think it's not the biggest deal in the world.
True. That's also true. But just throwing it out there.
No. I definitely agree with what you're saying. Sorry, what I was trying to say is like, I don't think anything needs to be necessarily like, if their stakes are high enough, like people will do what's in their own interest.
Very true. Well, in addition to pride, Will, as the World Blitz Scrabble champion, if you would like, you are. Oh, hey, we have a cat cam. You are entitled to a hand-carved wood plaque.
Oh my God! You guys didn't say there was a pocket stake.
David, I joked when you won, or when you put down the butthead triple that if you ended up coming back from being down 2-6 and that was your turning point, that I was going to write, I owe this all to butthead on your plaque.
Yeah. Oh no, man. Oh, block. No. Okay.
Well, what were you going to say?
I would never refuse, or if you're giving me the option to either claim that prize or not, I will definitely claim that prize.
It is yours. I will get to work carving a beautiful lightning bolt with your name.
Thank you. I will treasure that.
Awesome. We do have some other questions from the chat that I do want to bring forward for you guys so that you can share some of your wisdom and thoughts. One of the questions that we got was, what's the future for Scrabble and for bringing in new players?
I think stuff like this is great. Like one of the, as I was saying before, one of the reasons that I like the idea of lengthening the playoff matches was just to sort of lengthen the duration of these really great matches that draw people in and get people interested even from outside our particular subculture. And BlitzChamps in general, the format was so good because it just generated such a huge amount of really fun content. Like, it's just fun to watch Blitz. So even if the format is kind of long and a bit of a slog over that many weeks, it never actually felt so bad because you're only playing once a week, and it just generates this enormous amount of content, which I feel like that's step number one for getting people interested, is to do events that yield a really great amount of stuff for people to watch, put it out there into the world, make it as entertaining as possible, and people will start to sort of make it part of their habits to check on Twitch and see, hey, is there a Scrabble on today? The more Scrabble we have on, the more people are likely to have that instinct and feel gratification when they say, oh, there is. That's awesome. I'm going to watch some Scrabble now. So that's definitely the, very basic first part of the equation.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that the Common Words Dictionary will have some sort of thing, because as soon as they finish creating some kind of complete lexicon, the first thing I'm going to do is host a tournament, or at least I plan to. I've got no experience with. Actually, that's not true. I've hosted a tournament before, but not a big online tournament. And I'm hoping everyone wants to give that a try. It should be really interesting, and I think that could be pretty interesting for new players to try, especially for people who are like 1500 and had to lose 9-0 to Will or me. Actually, it's going to be it's much more close, really. And they could potentially win those kind of matches. It could be a lot more interesting.
Sweet. Thanks for that.
Agreed with that as well.
Yeah, we at the Coco definitely are pro trying to get new players as well as trying to get as many people playing on the same dictionary as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess that doesn't achieve that goal, but yeah,
one step at a time.
Yeah, I do think it's still a worthy idea.
Sweet. We have a two-headed question from Conrad. One question is for Will and one is for David. The question from Conrad for you, Will, is, are you ready? And the question for David is, are you sad that you can't be ready? And Conrad said that you would know what this means, because I did not.
Yeah, what it means is Conrad is interested in doing a match against the winner of this match. Not sure how many games, but yeah, I'm definitely I'm happy to do any kind of long form match against any players as strong as, you know, Conrad or David or anybody else. I think that's a lot of fun for people to watch. Conrad wanted it to be for pretty rich stakes, which we'll have to iron out how much, but $100, maybe that's more my speed than the initial figure that was proposed to me. But yeah, I'm definitely up for that. And of course, you know, the caveat being because I happened to win this tournament, I'm under no illusions that I am actually the best player at 3-minute blitz in the field. I think it's pretty clear that there were a number of amazing players that I just happened to kind of luck my way this far. So I'm not anticipating, like, if I do matches against Conrad or David in the future that are 50 games or whatever, I don't anticipate like being the undisputed champion. I'm sure I'm going to lose some of those, but that's fine if it makes for good content. So
yeah, what I said to Conrad, and that extends to everyone, is I'll play anyone, any amount of games for any amount of money. I've got absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think I'm pretty confident I can hold my own against pretty much anyone, except maybe Will. Yeah.
Well, if we had something like 30 more games to play, I would not be feeling good about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely keen to play super long matches for a lot of money. I understand that most people aren't as familiar with gambling high stakes as me, but you know, if anyone ever feels like seriously taking me on, then you know, bring it on, guys. But yeah, if you want to play like a much longer set in you know, but after, because like I think if we play straight away and I won, it would kind of be, or even if you didn't win, it's like lose for you, right? It like kind of undermines the victory. It's like, okay,
oh no, I don't care. I don't think about it that way.
We play again. Like, oh, wait, can we just keep playing until I win?
I don't think of it that way. I don't have an ego. I don't have an ego. I don't have an ego. I don't have an ego about this. Like, I'm fine playing and getting dominated in a best of 50 and having it be, you know, if my ultimate fate is to be known as somebody who is good enough to get very, very lucky and win BlitzChamps, that's fine with me.
I'm not gonna stand idly by and let Will talk himself down like that. It's too good. But I would be keen to watch. You know, money matches should be a thing. But I think realistically, the problem with this game is it's quite easy to tell who's better than who. And that means that there can't really be money matches or you know, long matches, because the best player pretty much always wins. But if you know, again, anyway, or I'll shut up about this after. Well, maybe, but like, you know, if it's in Common Words Dictionary, it's much easier to think you're a better player because players are really bad at evaluating their own strategical strength. Most people think they're really, really good at the strategy of Scrabble. And they think, you know, oh, if only I studied more words, I'd be the best in the world. But you know, that kind of delusion that most Scrabble players have is really what would fuel some solid grudge matches and, you know, some money play and stuff like that. It could be very interesting.
Well, David, you have several offers in the chat for as long a series as you want if you're willing to try playing blindfolded Scrabble. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, okay, that seems fair. What nice. Kind of odds are you guys giving me?
That is for you and your many would-be suitors to figure out.
Okay. I've never played blindfolded before, but it could be interesting, I guess. It's probably not my cup of tea, but maybe I'll try it.
Nice.
I tried it for the first time, and I feel like it's, if nothing else, it's just a content factory as you screw up and place ridiculous phonies on the board. But I actually think there's probably some utility to it for just, I don't know, as with anything, sort of tricking your brain and doing something a little bit different to it sort of helps keep the base game more fresh. So
yeah.
There's that, but yeah. It's worth a try.
Yeah, and the sign in general that like a game is doing well is that variants like that pop up. Because like when things get popular, invariably like people try like different formats of it because they love the game so much. So I mean that new derivative forms of Scrabble are being tinkered with and played and blah 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 is actually it's a good sign. It's a sign that the community is still alive somewhat.
Yeah,
these are like true. Like speed Scrabble. Keep in mind, 3-minute Scrabble is a derivative form of the game we're all used to playing, right? Mind you, I think I enjoy it more than the normal game, but it's at the end of the day, it is derivative, even if it is better.
Variants definitely can be fun. I've enjoyed Blitz. I found that. At first, I couldn't play a game in 3 minutes at all, but now when I try to play a 15-minute game or, God forbid, a 25-minute game over the board, it seems like you have an eternity of time compared with Blitz.
Yeah, that's what I noticed playing the Nationals in Australia. That you're 25 minutes, you're like, Jesus Christ, like I could have played like 6 games already.
For sure. Yeah. Well, David, I know you were very pro resignations in this tournament, and you ended up getting your wish in the playoffs. We do have some people in the chat who talked about whether we should relabel the resign button, which used to be rage quit when Woogles launched. Do you have a view on that?
Yeah. I mean, you can. Yeah, I liked it when it was called rage quit, but I mean, yeah. Well, go for it if you guys are behind that sort of thing.
I think I resigned twice or something like that, so that's more than my usual quota.
Will was not a resigner.
Oh yeah, we did notice the match, David, where you passed a couple of times while Will was slowly playing out his hand.
I gotta keep that spread close. Come on, that's.
Yeah, I mean, Will's right. Like optimally speaking, that getting the spread close. Like having a draw is not non-zero. But on the flip side, like, I also don't want to expend my brain power on that kind of thing. So I'm happy to just pass it out. And you know what? If it comes to a tie, then let him have it. I really don't care. Like, it's so unlikely anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather not play out dead games. Like, I think spread in general is just a terrible, terrible idea and needs to go really, really fast and really, really far away. Because spread like just forces dead games to carry on. And it created a culture of playing out dead games, which is, I think, not good for viewership. Like, it's boring to watch games that are over, in my opinion.
Absolutely agree with that. And that's part of what makes Blitz so good, is that even for me, stubborn people like me that want to play games out just for the whatever intellectual stubbornness of it, the game still can't take that much longer. It's only a maximum of
that's
a
true.
few
that's
extra
the
minutes.
That's the other side of that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean the pro of Blitz is you don't have to play out as many dead games and while your opponent just dies. But if we didn't have this problem to begin with, the vast majority of gaming communities, I believe, do correct me if I'm wrong, because there's a lot of people watching this, I do think the vast majority of games encourage resigning in dead games.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, chess has a pretty strong culture of just accepting draws rather than playing locked positions out. I'm sure poker has, I mean,
it doesn't really apply in poker.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same, but
yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think
of
other.
Poker. Isn't that the same thing as resigning in a way? It's like you're
no,
yeah.
not really.
Yeah, but Scrabble is unique there for sure.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unusual, but maybe someone in the chat's gonna say something. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I personally have some strong feelings.
Sweet. Evans, did you have other questions for our players?
No, not really. I was going to let the viewers do most of the work, honestly.
Yeah, you've done enough work.
I feel like I have. So you guys, man, 16 games is a lot of work. I can't imagine how you guys feel right now.
No.
The most work has been done by Evans and Jen. We need to give huge support to these two for doing this.
Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Thanks very much for all the time and effort that went into that. It's unbelievable.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it. And yeah, it was a lot of work. We're glad to be able to bring it to the viewers. I also would be very remiss if I didn't acknowledge many other people who contributed to making this tournament run as well. Becky Dyer, many of you, if you were players in the tournament, will know her from the many scheduling requests that she handled to make sure that players found each other and were able to complete their matches, in addition to a lot of other help that she did on the back end to make everything run smoothly. So huge thanks to Becky for everything that she did to make the tournament go. The lovely stats that you see in the tables on the website, that's thanks to Martin DeMello, who wrote custom scripts for us so that we could calculate the results and post the standings as soon as people had them in. So thanks very much to Martin. And the logo as well, our beautiful BlitzChamps logo with the cocoa purple colors. Thanks so much to Conrad for putting that together and ensuring that we had cool art to go with our website. I'm sure, Evans, am I forgetting anybody else here? I feel like I'm forgetting others.
Everybody who streamed everything, like especially like Will and Josh, who streamed a lot of the playoff matches. I mean, just really every single person that helped stream these matches on Twitch. We had 147 matches in this tournament streamed, which is a ridiculous number. And like, I only did a third of that myself. The rest of that was y'all. So thank you to everybody who streamed. It was really awesome to see.
Yeah, nearly 150 hours of original Scrabble content that didn't exist at the beginning of this year. It was great to see. And in addition to the players who streamed themselves as well, we had Mac Meller and others who weren't playing in the tournament who were streaming other people's matches too to try to get as much coverage as we could. And that's something that we're really excited to see and hope happens in future tournaments as well. We did get a question in the chat of what is the next Coco tournament? Evan and I are going to try to take a break to recover on other aspects of life after having run this tournament for the past 13 weeks, but there will definitely be more to come. The blog and our mailing list are the easiest ways to find out when we announce new tournaments. We might be rolling out some smaller tournaments in the very near future, and then leading up to something bigger, possibly later in the year. But yeah, we'll share all those fun details when we have them.
Sounds
Anything else from our wonderful players? From you, Evans?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. I'm going to have some dinner, I think. I just want to say thanks again so much for coming on, you guys. This was a great little post-game show to have, and I really appreciate it. And thanks for playing 13 grueling weeks of Scrabble, because I imagine you're pretty tired at this point.
Yeah. Thanks very much to all of the 80 players who participated in the tournament. It was a long commitment.
I'll schedule best of 50 with David for some time in the next couple months.
Yes. Yeah, whenever. Yeah.
Can't wait for that. Yeah.
Put my belt on the line.
I'm super keen to play more. That was too short. I didn't get. We need more. But yeah. Anyway, I'll shut up. Like it was a healthy series. It was definitely the most matches I've played in the tournament so far. Yeah.
Well, next time when we run a best of 50 BlitzChamps tournament, that might create even more content. It'll be exciting.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Again, I already said it like twice, but thanks so much for running the tournament and blah blah. I mean, it's really unthanked job. You know, where 90 players come in and they take all the value out, and it's like, all right, bye. Get like nothing back. Like, all right, see ya. But yeah, you're doing God's work.
Thanks, David. Appreciate that. And thanks as well to all the viewers too who've tuned in for the Twitch streams throughout all of these many, many weeks. We're really glad to see so many people turn out for the playoff championship tournaments. What am I saying? I'm doing a word salad in my mind. For the matches.
It's fine.
Thank you. It's good. And yeah. And I will do one quick plug here that if you enjoyed watching BlitzChamps, if you enjoyed the coverage, if you want to see more tournaments like this one, more tournaments like the Virtual World Cup that we won last year, please do consider making a contribution to the Coco. We're a totally volunteer organization, and every dollar that we receive in donations is more time that we can spend producing content in tournaments like this one instead of going out and applying for grants. So thanks, and thanks to all the people who have donated in the past. We appreciate it very much, and it's what keeps us going. All right, and with that, happy Scrabbling, everybody. Thanks.
All right, cool. All right. Peace out, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Catch you later.
Thanks.